But first, we have some breaking news to get to. The legendary singer Ozzy Osbourne has died. That is according to our partners at the BBC. His death comes just weeks after he reunited with his former band Black Sabbath for a farewell concert. Osbourne formed the band in the late 60s, which is credited as pioneering heavy metal music. Osbourne and his wife Sharon also became known as media personalities for their reality show, The Osbournes, which aired from 2002 to 2005. Osbourne was 76 years old. We will, of course, continue to follow the story and have more later on his passing.
I'm just outside of the town of Monmouth in Wales. This area has been the unlikely location of one of the world's most successful recording studios for over 50 years. I'm referring to Rockfield Studios, the world's first residential recording studios. Some of the people who've recorded there include Iggy Pop, Robert Plant, Coldplay, Motorhead, Paul Weller, The Cure, and notably Oasis and Queen. But the reason I'm here today is to talk about another band and another person who spent a lot of time at Rockfield. That band was Black Sabbath. Following the sad news a couple of days ago, this video can only be about one person. Today's video is about the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne. Rockfield Studios were established by two brothers, Kingsley Ward and Charles Ward, in 1965. They transformed their dairy farm into a musical mecca by converting their outbuildings into a recording studio and a residential area. It became a residential studio by accident when New York band Elephant Memory recorded there, but they had no place to stay. Dave Edmunds recorded his 1970 hit I Hear You Knocking at the studio, and it was him who suggested that the studio should be called Rockfield, after the nearby village of the same name. The studio's biggest claim to fame probably relates to the band Queen. They recorded two albums here, Sheer Heart and Night at the Opera. And Freddie Mercury recorded the piano section of Bohemian Rhapsody in the studios. Actually, as his bandmates played frisbee in this courtyard. When Ozzy and Black Sabbath came here, they'd never been to a recording studio before.
Never been on a farm.
They rehearsed and fine-tuned their Paranoid album here in 1970. Ozzy always traced his fame and fortune back to Rockfield. During an interview for a documentary on Rockfield in the year 2020, he said, "Rockfield will always be a part of me because we started Black Sabbath here." And he went on to say, "I started my solo career there. I can go to live in Beverly Hills, but for some reason I end up back in Rockfield. It's magic." This little bridge is covered in artwork. The riverbed is almost completely dry. Got some swings there. That'd be cool if there was some water there to break your fall. Wibbledy wobbledy bridge. I'd say there's some pretty good land in this area. Nobody seems to be keeping livestock. There's a lot of crops being grown here. That was a field full of potatoes. They're growing wheat here. Now this video is going to be about Ozzy Osbourne's time in Rockfield, but I'll come back here at some point to do another video, because there's so much music history to the place. Maybe I'll come at a different time of the year, just so that the drone footage will look different. I'll just go up to the gates of Rockfield Studios, then I'll move on to another location. Getting close to the studios now. There's one tragic incident that happened near Rockfield when the Charlatans were recording there in 1996. The keyboardist Robert Collins died in a car accident on this stretch of road. I'm not sure where the exact spot was, but I believe it was fairly close to the studios. Okay, just over here, I think. Yeah, here we are. Imagine all the famous people have been up and down this driveway. Two people I didn't mention earlier. Just wait for this tractor to pass. When Iggy Pop was here recording, David Bowie actually came here to do some backing vocals for him. And I believe that George Michael has also been here. But I'm unclear as to what he recorded here, if he recorded at all. Rockfield Studios and Rockfield Leisure. No unauthorised entry. But the countryside around the farm is beautiful. So Ozzy must have loved coming here, as it was probably the first time he'd been to the countryside was when he first came here to Wales. One story that I liked about the place was how it inspired Chris Martin to come up with one of their biggest hits. The band were leaving the studio one night and all the stars were out. And the record producer said, "Look at the stars." The memory stuck in Chris Martin's head, and later on it became a line in the song Yellow. This is where Oasis recorded their second album, What's the Story. They actually attempted to record the vocals for the song Wonderwall by a wall in the courtyard of the farm. There's another recording studio and rehearsal space just up the road from here. It used to be part of Rockfield Studios, and it's also connected to Black Sabbath and Ozzy. That place used to be called the Old Mill, but it's now called Mono Valley Studios. It used to be a place for bands to rehearse and write songs, and later on the recording studio was added. Now, I've named quite a few of the big names who have recorded at Rockfield, but the list is much bigger than the ones I've listed. That's why I want to come back here some point to do another video. There's a couple of stories about Ozzy's wild time here. Just hard to know what's true with these kind of stories though. One of them is that he started fighting with a cow. And on another occasion he was shooting a shotgun through the window of the farmhouse.
Rock and roll!
Okay, let's move on to another location. I've come to the village of Rockfield now, and this is the parish church. I believe there was an incident here involving Ozzy Osbourne. If there's any hardcore Ozzy Osbourne fans watching, I'd like your help. I'd like you to confirm that I am in the right churchyard. The story goes that he was running about in between the gravestones, making a howling noise. And he scared the local children so much that he arranged for some toys to be delivered a couple of days later from Harrods. Of the 3 churchyards which are near to Rockfield Studios, I think this is the most likely candidate where the incident occurred. It's said that the church was next door to Rockfield. And this one is kind of next door to Rockfield, although it's half a mile away. And it's in the village of Rockfield itself, which makes me think that this is the right place. The churchyard is also located kind of in between Rockfield Studios and the Mono Valley Studios. Amazing church. This one's kind of disintegrating. Somebody who died October 18th, 1817, aged 63 years. In living memory of Annie, daughter of George and Matilda Howells, born March 6th, 1896. No, 1890 must be. Died June 5th, 1893. I guess the parents will be buried here then, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna make my way to the final location, which I think is walking distance from here. As it turns out, where I'm going is extremely close to the churchyard. Just along here is Mono Valley Studios. This path goes quite close to the studios, but it kind of veers off before you reach it. So what I'll do is I'll just get the drone over, I think. Ozzy was here during his early solo career, but he was also here with Black Sabbath in 1977, as there's a number of photographs of the band by the house and by the river here. You can actually, you might be able to just about see the river there through the trees. Now there's loads of photographs of the band messing about on the raft, and I've had a look on the map and kind of compared them to the photographs. Where the photographs were taken, the trees were further away from the river. And there's only one spot like that on this stretch, and sadly it's going to be on private land, but if I spot it on the drone I'll point it out. There's a number of Welsh bands who have recorded at the studio as well. Super Furry Animals, Manic Street Preachers and Catatonia. It's also the only place where Tom Jones has recorded an album in Wales. I mentioned earlier that Oasis had recorded their second album at Rockfield. Well, they recorded their first album, Definitely Maybe, at the Mono Valley Studios. The photograph for the single Supersonic was taken inside the studios. This photo of Black Sabbath would have been taken around here, just in front of the building. And the area where they were on the raft, I believe, would have been around here. when I come back here to do another video, I'll try and get I'll try and approach the studios from a different angle to see if I can get the drone closer to this area. Ozzy co-wrote a significant portion of his debut solo album, Blizzard of Oz, here, including the songs Crazy Train and Goodbye to Romance. Ozzy returned here in 1981 to write material for his second solo album, Diary of a Madman. Okay guys, thanks for watching.
We sat on the roof. You said you'd try to explain. You told me all your secrets. Then you said it would rain. And now I'm standing here without a clue. 'Cause I thought I knew every single part of you. How does it hurt? Like tearing up a hole inside you. For what it's worth, yeah, I know what you're going through. What can I do? You have to get over it for something new to take its place. Let's make the most of it, me and you. We're gonna steer this boat to safe land. I'll do my best to understand.